Guys, it could not be starting much worse for the Philadelphia 76ers. It could not be starting much worse. Joel Embiid and Paul George are both out. They are both out for their first game of the season. Like, what is going on? What is actually going on here? Like, we're watching in real time a team's two best players both being crippled. Like, Paul George, in fairness to him, has come back from that leg snap unbelievably well. But like, Joel Embiid has literally said for the rest of his career, he's not playing back-to-backs. Joel Embiid may not play enough games to be ever on an all-NBA team again. And now Paul George. Like, I'm sorry, if I'm a Sixers fan, if I'm a Sixers fan and I only care about winning a championship, then cool. Like, you know what? Like, this low management stuff, it might work, especially if players aren't capable of playing 82 games a season. If I'm a match-going Sixers fan, I would be losing my mind. If I was a season ticket holder, I'd be trying to sell it right now. You're only going to see Joel Embiid for half the games? If I've bought tickets to a 76ers away game and it's on the end of a back-to-back, I'm selling that ticket right now. I'm selling it right now because Joel Embiid and PG, like, they are two injury-prone players, and George is to be reevaluated. Like, they are very, very heavily reliant on Tyrese Maxey. The NBA season officially begun when Joel Embiid is injured. Like, look, Joel Embiid is super. He's a super. Paul George is a star. Like, we gotta say that. Like, heck, maybe in 2024 is Paul George a star? I don't know. I don't even know if in 2024 Paul George is a star. But I do know Joel Embiid is a superstar, especially with the way NBA refs call the games. He's borderline unstoppable. So we got to give some credit there to him, that he has built his game around what the referees do, that has basically made him unguardable in the post, and it's basically just made him unguardable in general. So yeah, he's a superstar, but it's like, the best ability is availability, and you don't have to be available 82 games a year. The problem is that if both Paul George and Joel Embiid are available for 55 games each this year, like, and that's being generous to say both of them. One of them might play 65, the other might play 40, but let's say they're available 55 games this year on average. And then there's 27 other games that they might win 5 of them. Without the 2 of them, they might win 5 to 8 of those 27. Suddenly you're looking at a team that's a play-in team. You're looking at a team that has gone all in on Paul George and Joel Embiid to be a play-in team. Like, with these guys not fully healthy, you're looking at an Eastern Conference where the Sixers are obviously better than them. The Pacers are better than them. The Knicks are better than them. The Magic are better than them. The Cavs are better than them. And I think who else is there in the Eastern Conference that was decent last year? The Bucks are better than them. Like, you're looking at a team, in my opinion, there are 6 better teams in the East than them. Like, thankfully, the only positive is that they're in the Eastern Conference. Like, if they were in the Western Conference, I would be like questioning whether or not like they were even they'd even be a play-in team. Like, genuinely. Like, they're the 3rd best team in their division. They're better than the Raptors, thankfully. They're better than the Bulls. They're better than the Pistons. They're better than the Wizards. I don't even know the Hawks. You never know what's going to happen with the Hawks. And obviously they're better than the Hornets. And the Heat, you just never know when it comes to the Miami. And you might be saying, oh, they were a play-in team last year with Joel Embiid injured. I'm like, yeah, you don't sign Paul George to a damn max. You don't sign him to a max or a near max or whatever it is for him to be just injured and not play. Like, that doesn't make any sense on their part. And it's just, for me anyway, it's just poor. It's poor team planning. It's poor team planning. Like, Paul George is a really good player. Embiid's a really good player. Like, Paul George is old. Like, it's not 2013 anymore. I'm old enough to remember young Paul George going toe-to-toe with prime, what should have been unanimous MVP 2013 LeBron James. I'm young enough to remember him going toe-to-toe with LeBron. And a lot of people expect him to be a top 5 player. I watched the scrimmage where he snapped his leg. I remember him coming back at the end of the season the next year to get the Pacers in the playoffs. I remember CJ Miles shooting the shot instead of him in 2017, the playoffs, and him going ballistic. I remember near MVP Paul George. Like, heck, I remember when the Paul George 1s and 2s came out, two of the greatest shoes of all time. This is not that Paul George. This is not that Paul George. This is a Paul George who was the second best player on the Clippers last year. Maybe third best in the playoffs. And should not have been realistically signed to a max. The Clippers needed him, but like the Sixers also didn't need him. And then you've got Joel Embiid, who he had a 50-point game in the playoffs, and the only thing people remember was him trying to injure the other team, which he tried to do. Which he absolutely tried to do. So yeah, hopefully my computer is okay. I think my computer is kind of acting up a little bit, and hopefully the video comes out okay right now. But yeah, this is a situation where you're like, it's just not good. It's just not good for the Sixers. It's not going to be good for the league. And the long-term hope of the Sixers, you are so heavily reliant on Tyrese Maxey making that jump to All-NBA. Like, as good as Tyrese Maxey was last year, his efficiency was the same as the year before. He just got more shots. He didn't really make a jump. He just got more opportunities with Harden. You're going to have to see Tyrese Maxey become the best guard in the Eastern Conference. If the Sixers want to make any noise, and by any noise, I mean win a playoff series, they're going to need to do that. Because they're not going to be a top 4 seed, which means they're going to have to beat, in the first round, one of Boston, New York, Orlando, and I don't even know who's going to be the 3rd seed. Maybe Milwaukee, maybe Cleveland. But I'm like, you're going to have to beat one of them. And I don't quite think that this team is capable of doing that. I don't think this team's capable of doing that. But yeah, that is pretty much it. That is pretty much it. Yeah, the Sixers, I think, are going to really, really struggle. Like, with the two of them out, it's going to be hard to win games. We saw last year with Tyrese Maxey by himself, as great as he was, as good as he was last season, he wasn't literally able to win games for the Sixers by himself. With Embiid out, that's why they fell to 7. And now with Embiid and PG out, they're just a worse team than last year when they were losing a lot of games. So it's going to be a struggle, but hopefully at some stage the two of them are healthy. So anyway, yeah, that is the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.